Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about The Batman, the 2022 Matt Reeves movie. So, I've seen this movie a total of 2 times, but I don't own it on DVD. I think it's a good movie and I do enjoy watching it, but there's just something about it that didn't fulfill my Batman needs when watching this movie. And so it's like, I don't know, like it was weird. Like, hey, this movie has like a lot of hype to it. And I remember after hearing all the hype and everything, I was so excited when I first got to watch it. Then I watched it and I didn't feel nothing. Like, I just didn't feel anything. And one of the reasons why that the movie feels kind of bleak and a bit on the sad, depressing part, but oddly enough, there's nothing really sad or depressing about this movie. Because, it's Batman, so there's always something gloom in there, but it's just something that feels sad and depressing about this movie. And I think it has to do with the color palette, the music, and just the lingering tone of the movie because it kind of had that grayish color palette. The music is very somber and everything. It's nice. I do like the piano stuff of it. I was getting, like I said, I was getting hyped for this movie and stuff. But like, there's just something somber about the music that feels kind of depressing. And the movie is way too long. Not only is it way too long, but people literally just stand around and talk for like the longest time and just stare at each other and stuff. Like when Batman is constantly staring at Selina, I'm just like, dude, it feels like a whole hour has passed by. But of course, he's attracted to her. But he's constantly just staring and everything. And so the runtime is literally 3 hours. I'm sorry, that's too long. I don't want to sit there for 3 hours. If you can't tell your story in like 90 minutes, or maybe an hour and a half, then you shouldn't be telling no story. It's the same way with the Justice League Snyder Cut. That movie should have never been 4 hours long. That was just too long. And so when you have a movie that's that long and there's so much talking and like it just kind of lingers on. But I do like this movie. I do find it interesting and intriguing. And I just don't like love it, Because the thing is, it's like also I'm not ready to go back to a realistic Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like I got enough of that with Nolan. Like I like the Nolan movies. But I don't want a different director who's attempting to emulate that. And that's the problem I'm having with Matt Reeves. One of the main problems I have with this movie, and I feel the way I do, is that I've seen this movie before. I haven't seen the movie Seven, which is this is what this is based off of. I haven't seen it. But everything I've seen in this movie, from like the tone, the style, the action, I've seen it in other movies before. This movie doesn't feel that original. It just feels like copy and paste, similar to Black Adam. Black Adam was a copy and paste. This movie feels like copy and paste. And so I'm really starting to wonder about Matt Reeves and his direction style because it's kind of like when you've seen so many elements before and it's been done to death or done better, and it's just kind of like you didn't bring anything new or interesting to the table, then I have a problem in everything. Because it's kind of like I'm okay with it being based on a comic. It's supposed to be based on a comic. It's a comic book movie. But I'm getting tired of everybody taking from year one. I have seen year one adapted a bazillion times, from animated movies to live action movies. I'm so sick and tired of year one. And also, I'm getting tired of the long Halloween. Other people have adapted that before, and I'm tired of seeing it. Pick another stinking movie. Not movie, but comic book. Pick another stinking comic book and everything. Because it's just getting so tiresome and everything. And I think like Echo was another one. or Ego or something like that was another comic it took from like that. I'm not familiar with, but the fact that this movie, I remember before the movie ever came out, because this thing was, they were thinking about this movie back in 2013, back when Ben Affleck was still gonna make it and the whole DCEU thing was happening. But then, of course, he dropped out, and then Matt Reeves took over and rewrote the thing. And before the movie ever came out, I think his name is Flamento, I think, a YouTuber. He guessed this movie was going to be based on Seven. So he must have had some kind of insider knowledge or something, because this is literally what the movie is based off of, like, the Seven movie and stuff. And I'm like, why are you going to base this on a different movie? Be original, you know what I'm saying? Because the thing about all the other Batman movies that came before this is that every single last one was original, and every director had their own unique style to it, whether it be a good style or a bad style. But here, Matt Reeves just feels like he's trying to copy Nolan and everything. And, there's even some scenes that are kind of similar, like the Batman gliding scene. Every time you have a gliding scene, it's pretty much always the same. You're going to have a faraway shot or you're going to have an up close shot. In Batman Returns, they had an up close of like the back area. And Christopher Nolan's, they pretty much had an up close shot of like the body torso area with the face. And with him, one problem I'm having with him is that, okay, I love it when directors use different angles, right? That's why I love Dutch angles. Everybody else hates Dutch angles, but I love Dutch angles because it's something different and makes your eyes and mind think in a different way. He does that too, but he's too up close to people's faces and stuff. Like, there are so many up close face shots that I swear to God, every time Robert Pattinson looked at Zoe Kravitz and stared at her for a long time, I thought he was gonna pull out some chapstick and apply it to his lips, similar to Abed in Community. Because I was getting that vibe. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm getting a Community vibe from a parody when Abed pretending to be Batman and they're parodying the Batman Nolan series, that's kind of bad. But like back with the up close shots and like the glider, it was too close on his face. I feel like I was being suffocated. And that's not the only up close shot. Like a lot of stuff that makes Batman so cool, like the Batmobile and stuff. And like the chase scene, I did not like this chase scene only because I couldn't tell what the heck was going on because of the angle they decided to shoot was so up close to like a certain part of like the car. I didn't know what the heck I was looking at. Then it turns one way, then something's going another way. I'm like, what the heck am I looking at? Because normally in a chase scene, you want to see the Batmobile in its fullest. And here you only get one good shot of what the Batmobile looks like. And then every other part is like a close-up of like the back area or like the front area or like a side wheel or something like that. And I couldn't tell what the heck I was looking at. Plus, I'm just not a fan of this Batmobile design. It's literally just a car with a little something added at the top and a little something added in the back. I mean, the CW Batwoman Batmobile car was just a race car too. But at least it looked kind of cool. And I get it. He wants to go for that realistic style and everything. And in fact, I'll say he's more realistic than that of Nolan. Because Nolan had a little bit of like comic book sci-fi-ness in its tech, but nothing else with like the villains. And like I said before, that's another thing. I want to have fun with a Batman comic book. I'm done with the realistic Nolan stuff. I want something more fun. And in the second one, he's supposed to have Clayface. How's he gonna do that in a very realistic way? And it's just like I want him to have fun with the villains. I didn't think Sal Maroni, but Sal something, whatever the gangster dude name in here. he was not intimidating at all. I don't understand. Like, he's supposed to be like the main bad guy, but he's not intimidating. The Penguin, I hate this version of the Penguin. All that prosthetics on Colin Farrell's face look ridiculous. I will not be watching the Penguin series because I don't understand why we need a series based on a villain. My favorite Penguin will always be the dude from the Adam West show. It will always be Danny DeVito and whoever the guy is from Gotham, because they always brought something different with their Penguin. But this Penguin was literally just a gangster lieutenant and everything. And I know I'm bragging on the movie, but it's just like I said, I do like it. I just don't like how unoriginal it is, and I just don't like certain things liberties that they took with this movie. Like, I don't like how in every current recent like DC adaptation of Batman, they keep trying to make his parents look like bad people. And I hate that they did that in the Joker movie. They did it in, I think, one of the animated Batman movie, The Court of Owls and stuff. Like, I don't want the idea of like Barbara Keene once again being like, going in and out of mental institutions and being kooky. They did that on the Gotham television show. I don't know how she is in the comic, but lately they just been having her being kooky in the head. No, I'm getting my people mixed up. Crap. I'm getting, I said Barbara Keene. I'm thinking of Martha Wayne. My bad. But yeah, they made Barbara Keene, Batgirl's mom, kooky in the head in that Gotham show. Now in this one, they made Martha Wayne kooky in the head. And I'm just like, like I said, I've seen it before. I've seen Thomas Wayne be a bad guy before in another like adaptation. And I'm tired of seeing the Waynes being portrayed as bad people. They're supposed to be presented as like the best people of Gotham, and they were supposed to be hope for Gotham until they got taken out. That would be like if you was to make Martha and Pa Kent bad people. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, what was it? The action. Like, I did like the action from what we got. And yeah, every Batman director has their own action style. Now, granted, in the Burton movies, he couldn't move at all, so his action sequences were very limited. But even though they was limited, they were still cool with him bopping and weaving and throwing that one kick. That one kick, man, like, whoa, man, you're like stealthy, historic, you know what I'm saying? Then, of course, the Val Kilmer Batman is the Michael Keaton Batman. And we actually got some really cool action scenes with that Batman in the opening fight and at the club fight. Because the dude did like a corkscrew flip in the air in that bat suit. And that thing was restrictive. He had like hand-to-hand combat. He threw kicks. He will toss around the ground with the villain and he would throw gadgets as he's fighting. That was the most action at that time we saw from a Batman movie, and the suit was restricted. George Clooney Batman didn't do much, so whatever. Whatever. The Nolan had a really unique fighting style too. He used a different form of martial arts, I think called the Casey, where it's basically you put your arms and your fists up in the air, like your elbows and stuff, and you just do a lot of block shots and everything. It was odd, but it was cool at the same time. Then, of course, the best action scene we've ever gotten with Batman was Batman v Superman, the warehouse fight. That will go down in history as just being freaking awesome. But here is just like Batman in his third year, and all he does is just punch people repeatedly, like he's desperate to show people he's tough. And I remember when I saw that in the trailer, I'm like, he's overplaying his punches to make it look like, hey, look at me. I'm just this little kid. I'm really tough. And I'm going to punch you over and over to show you how tough. It feels like desperation. Like it really does and everything. And I hate saying that, but it is. Because there wasn't even that many action hand-to-hand fight scenes. He fought thugs, but he didn't even fight the main villain, which technically Batman never really fights his main villain in the live adaptation. That's the problem I've had with all of them. But at least he fought Ra's al Ghul in the Nolan movie. And at least he fought Superman in like Batman v Superman, and of course the Parademons. But after going from that to this, because I mean that warehouse scene, that was top notch. It's hard to beat that, but you gotta try. And he didn't even like attempt. And so I was really disappointed in the action scenes. I like Selena Kyle in this. She was a really good Selena Kyle. Still, Michelle Pfeiffer is the best. And Hathaway will come in third, and Holly Berry just doesn't come at none because I never watched that movie in its entirety. Plus, I'm just not even gonna put her in the category and everything. That was just terrible. But I really love Zoe Kravitz as like Catwoman and stuff. I don't understand though why she wore a mask that had cat ears and stuff. I get why Michelle Pfeiffer character became Catwoman. I even get the Anne Hathaway why she became Catwoman and everything. And because she was already established as Catwoman and the whole ear motif was just her goggles turned up. So that was neat. But I don't understand why this version is Catwoman and stuff. Because in the comic in which she's based off of, and I love how they had like her little tank top and the pants that matched the comic and stuff. She was inspired by Batman by seeing him do what he does, but in this she's just Catwoman for some reason. And I really don't get why. Now making her related to Sal, that was interesting and stuff like that. It didn't really amount to nothing. I really didn't feel the emotion between those two and the rivalry and everything. Also, I don't like how Batman always lets Catwoman get away at the end of the movie. That's happened now in 3 live action movies, and I'm tired of it. Like at least Kevin Conroy's Batman will always arrest her, even if she helped him out. Now, I did like the bat suit. The bat suit looked really good. It's the most armored looking bat suit we've ever had. And at the scene at the end of the movie, when he had his arms up in the air, you can literally see the fabric and stuff mounted, the armor mounted on the suit. I love the shape of his face with the bat ears. Like I just love that. And I love the cape, how it didn't go all the way to the ground. It stopped near like his ankles and stuff. I really enjoyed that. It would have been nice to see him use his gadgets more. Like Matt Reeves said that part of the reason why he made this movie because he wanted to show the detective aspect of Batman, something that's never really been done in the other movies. I didn't feel like he did no detective work in this movie, honestly. People were solving things for him. Like, he would figure out the riddle because he's really good at that. But other people, like, in order for him to figure out stuff in the movie, other people literally had to tell him and stuff. So what detective work did he do? Was it when he took out the table, put it on the ground, drew on the table, and somehow he figured out Riddler's like master plan and didn't explain it to the audience and everything? Like, I don't get that, you know? And I felt like other Batman movies did more detective stuff. Like Christopher Nolan's Batman in the second Batman movie, oh, that dude was a straight up detective in that movie. But I really didn't feel the detective element in this movie. And like something else. Oh, Alfred. I don't like this version of Alfred. I'm sorry, I haven't seen an Alfred clean since like Joel Schumacher's Batman and stuff, and the Tim Burton one. Alfred no longer cleans in these movies, yet he's a butler. He no longer dresses like a butler. He no longer acts like a butler. He's mostly just Batman's accomplice who's always in the Batcave helping him out with stuff. Like that's how Alfred has been portrayed in the last couple of movies. Also, I don't get why Bruce and Alfred have a strained relationship, yet they still live together and stuff. And when it comes to that, Robert Pattinson's Batman, you know, I barely understand what he was saying because he talks in a whisper. His voice sounds identical to that of Christian Bale's, but not as silly and goofy as Bale and doesn't have the puckered up lips. You know, Christian Bale's all like, swear to me, like all like that, but he's more, he'll say more like, swear to me, like a whisper, you know what I'm saying? Like he kept talking in a whisper and he sounded so uninteresting because I could never really understand what he was saying. And when he was talking to Selena with that music in the background, I'm like, what are you saying? And you sound uninterested. The only problem I have with his performance is I don't get his Bruce Wayne. I don't get why this Bruce Wayne acts the way he does. It would like, okay, yeah, his parents were murdered and he saw his parents murdered. Duh, that's Batman. But you know, why does he act the way he does? Like every other Batman that we've had, we know kind of why, you know, they act the way they do. Tim Burton's Bruce Wayne was like eccentric, a little kooky in the head. He's one step over from being in like Arkham Asylum himself. You have like he's a little bit manic, and of course that trickled over to Val Kilmer's Bruce Wayne. He's constantly thinking about his parents. He's having flashbacks of like that red book. You know, like he can't talk to like people without being awkward and a little jittery because he's a little off in the head. You know what I'm saying? And George Clooney's Batman is just George Clooney and everything. And of course, you know, there's Christopher Reeves, like, you know, Bruce Wayne. And we get why that dude's the way he is. He's really traumatized by what happened with his parents. And like, you know, he puts on a facade of being this like bachelor person who drinks fake alcohol and pretends to be drunk. And he's really like, you know, one of the most skilled, disciplined people there is, and literally had to figure out why criminals are the way that they are, and even went like overseas and stole just to figure out how they operate and everything. But this Batman, I don't understand this Bruce Wayne like at all. And we've been in the middle of a Batman story before, like Tim Burton one. We never saw an origin. He was already Batman. Here, this dude's been 3 years being Batman, but he feels like he's more year two or something like that, or year one. And I don't get this version of Bruce Wayne or Batman. Like I really don't in everything. And I don't mind that he's skinny. I mean, look at Michael Keaton. You know what I'm saying? You expect me to think that's Batman and everything with that body and George Clooney and stuff. So I don't mind. I mean, Val Kilmer was ripped. Bale was ripped. Patterson is like Ben Affleck was really ripped. Like, oh my God. And Patterson is just skinny ripped. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like whatever. And so this would have made more sense if this was like a year one Batman and he's really screwing up left and right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would have been more interesting. Now, I haven't talked about the Riddler yet. I don't really know what to make of him. He doesn't look like the Riddler, and he doesn't act like the Riddler for the most part. Like, he talks about how he loves puzzles and games, but I never got that from him. When he put those things on people like bombs and stuff, it was never like a riddle game or like a puzzle game or nothing like that. But yet he's obsessed with games and he's obsessed with riddles for some bizarre reason, but yet he doesn't act like he is. And he does not dress like the Riddler at all. He has a great look to him, but he's literally just a vigilante, which kind of Two-Face was in The Dark Knight. So I've already seen that. And I didn't need to see it again. But the thing about the Riddler is that the dude from the Adam West show, that dude will always go down in history as being the best Riddler ever. Jim Carrey literally duplicated his version and stuff and never tried to make it his own. Plus, you know, Jim Carrey just acts like Jim Carrey. But he literally copied that dude's version. But and then he also copied the motive of the one from the animated series, going out for revenge on the boss. Now, Bruce Timm said it best, is that you don't want your Riddler to be a Joker clone. And that's basically what the Adam West version and the Jim Carrey version was. And I like what Bruce Timm did, making him smart with like the suit and the hat and the cane and stuff like that, right? And we've had other versions of the Riddler, like in The Batman, the animated series. He dressed differently, but he still looked like the Riddler. He had kind of like Saw type, like torture devices, but in a giant puzzle game type thing. But it still felt like the Riddler. Even in the Arkham series, we had a Riddler that was very nerdy looking. So he's been portrayed more like a nerd lately in other versions with the glasses and stuff like that. But he still looks and feels like the Riddler. And even in the Arkham games, they took the whole Saw motif and they still made it like a Riddler type thing. Here is just this dude is trying to help out the 1%. He doesn't like corrupt people. So he goes after them. He either kills them or straps like a device on them. And it's like, that's it. And of course, if they don't pass, they blow up or something. Which, how did Batman take that explosion face on? He was literally in that dude's face. I guess I can give it a pass saying the bat suit protected him, but how did his face, like the mouth area, survive that? And I don't know, that was just a little unbelievable. Like, he literally took that explosion face on. And so, like, this Riddler is very manic, he's very psychotic. Here's the thing about the Riddler people have to remember. There's a reason why, and the Riddler never really goes to Arkham Asylum. He's not really crazy in the head. Like, he's just a very he's kind of like the Penguin. He's just a vengeful, bad person. But he does love games and he loves riddles. Now, the part of him that I always felt that he was obsessed with is that in the comics, he could be like on a train and the train's about to go off a cliff and Batman's trying to save him, and Batman will be like, give me your hand. He's like, all right, I'll give you my hand, but you gotta answer this last riddle for me. And he will, like, he's literally obsessed with riddles. But other than that, he's not really like crazy, you know what I'm saying? But this dude is literally nuts in the head, and he thinks he's literally Batman. Like, him and Batman are the same. It reminds me of Electro and Spider-Man in Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is something I've seen before. And then of course, what happens when the hero rejects you? You turn like, no, like you go crazy in the head and everything. Like, I do like the portrayal of it. It's so vastly different from what I'm used to and stuff. And of course, we never saw the Joker's face in it, but there's that deleted scene. I don't like the way the Joker looks. I love that deleted scene. I watch it over and over. I hate the way he looks and everything. Jim Gordon was good in this. I really liked him. It was interesting because we seen him and Jim work together, but this one they really work together. Like they're literally like, buddy cops and everything, which is odd to see the police. Some of the police were just totally okay with it, but then there was some who weren't, just like, whatever, man, you know what I'm saying? So that was interesting to see and very different. And so basically, this movie is just the Riddler. He hates like corrupt people and politicians and stuff like that and gangsters. And so he punishes them. He thinks he's literally being like Batman. So he's really smart and able to like put these riddles on this, and he's always going after these people. Like he went after like Bruce Wayne because he can't go after Thomas Wayne. And so but he wants to catch Batman's attention because he is obsessed with him. Yet, who is obsessed with Batman? The Joker. So you don't want to make him a Joker clone, but he literally is, because he's murdering people and he's obsessed with like Batman and stuff. And so I don't understand why he wore the costume he did if he's gonna act the way he does and stuff. And so Batman's going through like a series of riddles and tests and this and that, and so he has to stop him. But then you have the whole Selena Kyle motive, plot B line, where she's going after Maroni because Maroni killed her mom, and like, she's like his daughter and everything, and her best friend has like gone missing, so they have to solve that. It's a weird B plot that I felt like could have been left out and could have given her her own movie or something. And the penguin is just there just to be there for whatever reason. And so then you had that third act, and it's just this is the part that kind of it just keeps lingering on. That we need that third act. That we like. Okay, he now has followers and everything. That's kind of what the Joker kind of have or is supposed to have, and the Joker too. And so you have these people who have been brainwashed and the whole rhetoric of like the Riddler, and now they like flooded Gotham and Batman has to save them. And it was interesting to slow everything down for Batman to just jump in the water and save people one by one. I don't get that, and I felt like it just slowed that movie down, and it was just tacked on just to have an extra couple of minutes in the movie because it makes Batman look like a beacon of hope. That's not really who Batman is. That's who Superman is. But they try to give him that like God motif and everything of him saving and helping people. But the thing is, that would have made sense if the people of Gotham feared him. And we don't see enough interaction between him and the people of Gotham for him to fear. But when he tried to save those people, like, no, no. And they didn't want like his help. But it's like, why? He's never hurt them. They know he hurts villains, bank robbers and stuff like that, and people who do harm. So they should know that, hey, if he's beating up on bad guys, he's gonna leave me alone because I haven't done anything. But yet they're like scared of him and stuff like that. But then they're like, well, I don't want to drown, so let me let you save me and stuff like that. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I do like this movie. It's just, I don't get this movie. And I don't get the hype surrounded about this movie. Just like the whole him and Alfred. And he's all like, Alfred, you lied to me my entire life. You said my parents were good. And I'm just kind of like, he's taking the word of bad guys who go around killing folks. And he's just jumping to conclusions. And it's just like, who the heck is this Batman? He feels like a teenager in everything. He doesn't feel like a grown man who's supposed to be in his mid 20s or early 30s. He's acting like a little emo boy and everything. Like I just don't get this movie. Like I really don't. Like I just really don't. Like I feel like we needed something to be built up to this movie. How did him and Gordon become friends? Why? Why is Selena the way she is? Why is Bruce the way he is? Why is him and Alfred strange? Are there any other better like how the heck the Joker get captured? You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, this movie feels like it's missing a lot of the plot and a lot of the backstory because it is missing a lot of the backstory. Even in the first Batman movie with Tim Burton, that Batman was fresh and new. It's only been around for like a couple of months or like a year. And him and Gordon are not friends. Gordon don't like him. Criminals fear him and everything. And as the movie goes on, Gordon's shocked and surprised to see, hey, this man is actually real. I thought he was like fake and everything. And I don't know, this Gotham didn't feel corrupt like the one in Nolan's movie. Like in the one in Nolan's movie, you really felt the corruption in that movie. The gangsters were actually scary. The villains were actually scary. And, the Riddler's mentally ill, like Joker, like in the Joker movie. But I was never scared of him. Only time I was ever scared is when he freaked out on Batman. And that's only because he had a mental breakdown and everything. I just don't get, this is why I don't own this movie on DVD. I don't get this movie at all. And they're gonna make a second one. And Matt Reeves does not want this to be in the DCU and everything. So it makes you wonder how many movies he has more under his belt and stuff. I just want him to be a bit more original. I don't want him to copy from this movie or that movie. I don't want him to copy from this director or that director. I want him to have his own style. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad this Batman has never killed anybody, because all the other ones have, especially Ben Affleck. That drove me nuts. That dude was literally a hypocrite and a murderer and stuff. So I'm glad this one, like, doesn't do the whole killing. But then again, I don't think George Clooney's Batman killed anybody either. But yet his Batman is literally the Val Kilmer and the Michael Keaton Batman. So technically he has. And of course, we all know Nolan's one killed too. The whole, I'm not killing you if I don't save you or something like that. But like, yeah, if you don't save him, then you just let him die. So that's technically murder and everything. I just want the funness of Batman again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want it to be a blend of like dark and gritty, realistic, but comic book funness. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to have a little bit element of fun. Like, even the Bat Cave was dull and boring and didn't have that much in there and stuff. And I really want like an old traditional Bat Cave, like in the Tim Burton one. Like, I miss that movie so much, man. I just want something to feel more like a comic book. I'm getting really tired of this realistic take on Batman. I had enough of that crap. Like, I've had enough of that crap. I want to go back to like the funness and stuff of comic book movies. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.